What's happening, everybody? This is Kornbread Capone. In light of J. Cole's recent comments on his latest mixtape about the podcast space, I felt like it was necessary for me to discuss the truth about the podcast space. Once upon a time, they used to have magazines. In the late 80s, early 90s, it was the Right Ons and Word Ups. And then as the 90s progressed, it turned into Vibe, The Source, Double XL. And then in the 2000s, once computers and the internet came, those publications went away and it became blog space. And that's how artists, well, that's how people who would commentate on the culture, the music, would, speak. And then in the 2010s, came the podcast space. You know what I'm saying? A lot of what J. Cole said about the podcast space was correct. It's a lot of people in this space who they only do the salacious stuff because the salacious stuff gets engagement. They only do negativity because negativity gets engagement. They only do ignorance because ignorance gets engagement. But if you notice, or if you paid attention to my platform, I try to keep it on music. You know what I'm saying? Because I could have went the salacious route. I could have went the Hollywood insider blog route and talk about, when such and such gets arrested or when this one is in the news but to me that don't have nothing to do with music. So I try to stay out of them conversations. Who you sleeping with, what you got arrested for, your comments about something that had nothing to do with music has nothing to do with music. I try to deal with the music. I deal with the music that's released, the breakdowns of the lyrics, maybe the music video. If you have a movie or some type of film associated with it, I try to talk about that. I try to stay out the messy stuff. You know what I'm saying? My podcast was created for my city where I'm from until I found out my city don't give a fuck about it. And then I said, okay, well, I'm not talking to nobody out here no more. So now I talk to people outside of here. And that's just the truth because realistically, if I'm not talking about fighting or beefing with somebody, ain't nobody gonna watch. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not talking to somebody who is popular, nobody in this area gonna watch. Let me just go on and be real about it. They don't give a fuck about nothing out here but negativity. Negativity, drama, beef, plex, fighting, going back and forth. If my platform was doing all that, I would probably have a lot of views. If I was talking about mess and negativity and this person going at this person, or if I had beef with somebody, people would tune in. But they don't because I don't carry my platform like that. I'm not a copycat. I don't have to follow the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? I can be who I want to be and I can do what I want to do. See, that's the glory of having your own platform. See, you're in control of your platform. That's the powerful thing about media. If you're in control of your platform, you're in control of the narrative. See, nobody can paint a false narrative about me because I own my own platform. You know what I'm saying? Now, some people take their platform and they use it to destroy others. I don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Some people take their platform and use it as an opportunity to shit on others. I don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep it strictly about music, the quality, the talent, all things related to music. Anything that's not related to music will stay out of the discussion. And that's just how I roll. Now, what J. Cole was talking about in his project was very real. I mean, a lot of podcast spaces, even mine, I don't really get the views like that. And I could be transparent with y'all. And I could tell you why. Because people love bullshit. People love mess, drama, negativity. That's what keeps the engagement. That's what he said in his record. You got to be negative to keep up engagement. That engagement leads to views, leads to, you know what I'm saying, money and whatever else may be. That's true. It's true. I deal with it every day. Now, I had a choice before I started this platform, what this platform would be about, what I would talk about, you know what I'm saying? And I chose to keep it music. I chose to keep the negativity out of my mixture. I chose to keep the ignorance out of my mixture. Now, that might come as a detriment to the views. That might come as a detriment to the viewership. But that's how I run my platform. Because it ain't about messiness over here. Messiness, who you go to jail with, I mean, how you went to jail and who you sleeping with ain't got no bearing if you ain't got a classic album or not. It don't have nothing to do with the music quality. It don't have nothing to do with your talent. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the best thing I could do is to continue pushing. You know what I'm saying? Because people might not like it in this area, but there's somebody in the world who does. You know what I'm saying? There's people out there who appreciate real music discussion without the ignorance attached to it. That's it. That's all, man. I just wanted to say that, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that needed to be said. Shout out to everybody who was watching me, you know what I'm saying, who do watch. I appreciate it. One love. And stay tuned, man, because I ain't gonna stop. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna stop. I don't give a fuck who not watching. Shout out to the people that do. Thank you for everybody that has been watching. And stay tuned because I got a lot more on the way.